Hello! Kumusta ka? Welcome to our pre-calculus class. Before we begin our lesson, please like and subscribe to my social media accounts. I am Sir Verge. And hit the notification bell para updated ka sa mga lessons natin. If you are ready, let's start our class. Hello! For Module 5, we will discuss about hyperbola. So first, let's define what is hyperbola. Hyperbola is the set of all points P in a plane such that the difference of the distances from P to two fixed points is a constant. The two fixed points are called foci. The standard equation of a parabola is the square of x minus h over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. So for this now equation, this is an equation for this kind of a hyperbola. So meron tayo kasi tinatawag na horizontal which opens leftward and rightward. And then we have the vertical hyperbola which opens upward and downward. For this discussion, we will focus first on the hyperbola opening leftward and rightward. So as you can see now, class, it's almost the same as the equation of an ellipse. So ang pinagkaiba lang nila is these operations. For ellipse, ito ay plus, but for hyperbola, it is minus. So I have here an example of a graph of a hyperbola. So now we will identify the different parts of hyperbola. So first, let's discuss about the red dots or these red points in our graph. The first one here is what we call the center of the parabola. So this one now is what we call the center. Yan. Okay. So that this red point now, the center, which is the edge K. So later on, we will discuss further pa yung different parts ng hyperbola. Okay? Moving on now to the next red dots or red points here in our graph. This is what we call the vertices of the hyperbola. So this is what we call the vertex 1. If we just call it the vertex 1. And this is now the vertex 2. Okay? Either way naman, wala namang problema yan. Okay? Next, we have these two red dots now are what we call the focus. So this is what we call the focus 1. And the second focus or F2. Alright? Two more red dots. So this one now are what we call co-vertices. Okay, co-vertex. Okay? So this is also a co-vertex. Yan. So, lagyan din natin sila. 1, 2. Alright. Okay, so those are the important points or dots here in our hyperbola. Next one is what we call these lines. So this, as you can see, these red dotted lines here, this is what we call the asymptote. Okay, there are two asymptotes. Okay, so this is what we call the asymptote. So it's a diagonal line across our graph in our hyperbola. So anong mangyayari dyan? Itong dalawang to can go further and further, can move closer and closer and closer, but they will not touch or meet to one another. Diba? Napakasaklap, no? Saklap-saklap talaga ng asymptote kahit kailan. Okay, so much with that. So this is what we call the asymptote. This is also an asymptote. Okay? Next is what we call the transverse axis. So this blue line now is what we call the transverse axis. Okay? This is what we call the transverse axis, or this is actually the value of A. So this one, this length now is the A. Okay, this is also A. So that the distance from the center to the one of the vertex is what we call A, is also the same distance that we have from the center to the another vertex of our hyperbola, so that the length of our transverse axis is equal to 2A. Okay? Next, the conjugate axis, this one now, this is denoted with the length of B. Yan. And they should also have the same length from the center to one of the co-vertex of our hyperbola. Okay, so this is what we call our conjugate axis. Ayan. So, why do we have all of these parts of the hyperbola? Sometimes in a given equation kasi, makuha mo lang itong mga points na ito, makuha mo lang itong line na to, mas madali nating nagagraph yung ating hyperbola. Okay? So, these are now the essential parts of the hyperbola. Now, let's try to solve some exercises. Okay, let us solve now our exercise number 1. Determine the values of A, B, and C, and center, foci, vertices, length of transverse and conjugate axis, and asymptotes of the given equation of hyperbola. So here's the example, or should I say the equation of the hyperbola: x squared over 36 minus y squared over 64 equals 1. So we are asked to find or to determine the values of the parts of our hyperbola. So I have here the standard equation of our hyperbola. So ito yung gagamitin natin guide natin para ma-solve natin ang hinihingi para sa exercise number 1. Okay? So first things first, we had the values of A, B, and C. So for our A, that's A squared. So this one is A squared. 36 is A squared. Okay? So value of A, to get the value of A, all we need to do is to get the square root of A squared. Okay? So we will take the square root of A squared. Okay? So kukunin lang natin yung A squared. Okay? So what would be the square root of A squared now? 36. What is the square root of 36? That makes it 6. Okay. Next, for the value of B, so here's our B, 64. What would be the value of B now? So we will take the square root of 64, which is 8. So the value of B here in our given equation is 8. Now we will solve for the value of C. So dito may pakonting solving na tayo. Okay, to solve for C, okay, the formula for C is the square root of A squared plus B squared. Here's the formula for the getting the value of C. C is equal to A squared plus B squared. So it's like a Pythagorean theorem. Okay? So madali lang naman yan. All we need to do is to get the A squared, which is 36, plus B squared, which is 64. We add them. That's 36 plus 64 is 100. And the square root of 100 is 10. Therefore, the value of C is 10. Okay, nakuha po ba? Next, we determine now the center. The center is located at age K. So, ito yung age, ito yung K. This case na walang kasama ang x squared natin, wala rin kasama ang y squared. Therefore, the value of our center is at 0, 0. Okay, so this is my age, this is my K. Gagamitin natin yan para ma-solve natin the remaining parts of our hyperbola. Okay? So our focus 1, it says here age C plus K. So ano ba yung age natin? Our age is 0 plus C. What is our C? 10. Meaning we have 0 plus 10, that makes it 10. Our K is 0. So therefore now, our first focus is located at 10, 0. Okay? Next, our second focus, it says here age minus C. So again, age is 0. Our C is 10, pero minus siya, so that makes it negative 10. Our K is 0 again. Can you follow, class? Okay. Next, we have the first vertex, the vertex 1. It says here, age plus A. So what is our age again? 0. The value of A is 6. So 0 plus 6 is 6. And then our K is at 0 again. Next, our second vertex. Our second vertex is at age minus a. So, meron akong age ulit. 0 minus 6. So, 0 minus 6 is negative 6. And my k is 0 again. So, ganun lang siya kadali, di ba? Next, the LTA or the length of transversal axis. Again, length of transversal axis is LTA. It says here it's 2a. So, what's the value of a? 6 times 2. Again, 6 times 2, that makes it 12. So, the length of the transversal axis is 12 units. How about our LCA or the length of the conjugate axis, which is 8. 8 times 2, that makes it 8 times 2 is 16. So, that is now the length of our conjugate axis. Okay, next, the asymptote 1. So, nakikita niyo yung formula ng asymptote 1, no? Parang medyo komplikado yata siya, sir. So, hindi man siya ganun kakomplikado. Okay, so let's first rewrite our asymptote 1 here. Y minus k is equal to b over a, then x minus h. Ayan. So, our first asymptote, y minus k is equal to b over a, x minus h. So, ano ba yung k natin? 0. So, y minus 0 equals b, which is 8, over a, which is 6. Then, x minus h is 0. Can you follow? O, yan na. Tapos, solve lang natin. Y minus 0. So, y na lang kasi 0 naman yon. 8 over 6. Ano ang simplified nito? Think of a number that we can divide to 8 and also we can divide to 6. So, that is 2. So, 8 divide 2 is 4. 6 divide 2 is 3. Or lowest term yung tawag natin doon. X minus 0 is x. So, meron tayong yan. Y is equal to 4x over 3. So, this is now our y. So, the first asymptote has the equation of 4x over 3. Okay? Next, punta tayo sa second asymptote. For our second asymptote, meron siyang minus dito. Yan, di lang nalagay. Minus b over a. So, parang ganito lang din siya. So, this is our second asymptote. So, I have y minus k equals negative b over a times x minus h. Okay, so y minus 0 is equal to negative b is 8. Okay. Over a, our a is 6. X minus 0. So this is y minus 0 is simply y. And then this one, so pareho lang, nagne-negative lang siya. So that makes it negative 4 over 3x. X minus 0. So therefore, y is equal to negative 4x over 3. That's it. So, we were now able to identify the parts of the hyperbola with the equation x squared over 36 minus y squared over 64 equals 1. Exercise number 2. Determine the values of A, B, and C and center, foci, vertices, length of transverse and conjugate axis, and asymptotes of the given equation of hyperbola, which is the square of x minus 2 over 9 minus the square of y minus 1 over 16 equals 1. Okay, so katulad ng ginawa natin kanina, this case now, so this will be our A based on the standard equation of the hyperbola. So the square root of 9 is 3. Okay, ganun lang siya ha. Next for our B, the square root of 16 is 4. Now, how to get for the value of C? So, ano yung formula natin? C is equal to the square root of A squared plus B squared. Pakita ko lang. Ayan. So, next, we substitute. Our A squared is 9. Our B squared is 16. So, we have 9 plus 16 is 25. And what is the square root of 25? 5. Yan. So therefore, the value of C now is equal to 5. Alright. Next, we identify our center age K. So our age here and K, so titignan natin siya dito. We have 2 and 1. So therefore, my center is at 2, 1. Alright. Focus. We go now to our focus. It says here, focus is age plus C. So my age is 2. So ito yung age ko ha. Ito yung K. Age plus C. So that's 2 plus 5. That makes it 7. And my K is at 1. Alright. Next, we have our second focus, which is age minus C. Okay, so age minus C. So age is 7. Okay, sorry. My age is at 2. 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 is negative 3, 1. Okay, can you follow? Next, my vertex now. The vertex is at age plus A, K. So age plus A. Age is 2, our A is 3. Nakuha ba? So 2 plus 3 is 5. Of course, K is always 1. Next, our second vertex, which is age minus A. Again, 2 minus A, which is negative 1, 1 for the value of K. Next, the length of transversal axis, which is 2A. So 2A, here's my A. 3 times 2, that makes it 6. My LCA, or the conjugate axis, we have 2B. Here's my B multiplied by 2, that makes it 8. For the asymptote, yan. So magsasolve tayo ng konti dito. Asymptote 1. So we have 1 minus K equals 1 minus K equals B over A X minus H. So check muna natin dito, no? So Y minus K is 1 equals B. What's my B? That makes it 4 over 3. 4 over 3, that's our A. X minus H. What's the value of H? 2. So, ano pong susunod na gagawin natin? So, ang gagawin po natin is itong negative 1, itatranspose natin siya sa kabila para y na lang yung matitira. So, pag nag-transpose tayo, yung negative magiging positive plus 1. Yan ang mangyayari. Next, after that, ayusin ko lang yung paper. After that one, is i-distribute natin itong 4-3 over sa x and negative 2. So, magiging siyang 4x over 3. Ito po yun. And then, ito naman sa 2. So, 4 times 2, that's 8 over 3 plus 1. Okay, so daling ko lang siya sa taas para nakikita po natin. Mapuputol na kasi siya sa video natin. Ayan. So, therefore now, pag in-add nyo to, itong 1, pwede nyo gawin siyang 3 over 3 para pare-pareho sila ng denominator. Okay? So, equals 4x over 3 minus 8 over 3 plus 3 over 3. Yan. Tandaan, class, siguro ilapit ko na siya banda sa gitna para medyo nakikita nyo siya. Yan, okay. So, tandaan nyo, class, dahil pare-pareho sila ng denominator, pwede natin silang ipagsama. Okay? So, 4x, mananatili siyang 4x, negative 8 plus 3, negative 8 plus 3, that makes it negative 5. Okay? So, that is now the value of our y. Y is equal to 4x minus 5 over 3. This is now our first asymptote. So y is equal to 4x minus 5 over 3. Now we do it now our second asymptote. Yan, I hope nakita siya sa video. Kita naman siya. Okay, so our second asymptote now is, so same lang din. So this case, meron siyang negative dito, no? May negative siya doon. So y minus k is equal to negative b over a x minus h. So our k is 1. So i-rewrite ko lang siya actually. Minus 1 is equal to negative 4 over 3. Then x, my age is 2. Minus 2. So that's my k, which is 1, my age, which is 2. I hope nakakasunod kayo. So next stage is itatranspose natin yung 1. Y is equal to negative 4 over 3x minus 2 plus 1. Then, i-distribute natin itong negative 4 over 3 sa x and 2. So we will get negative 4x over 3 plus 8 over 3. Gagawin natin tong plus 3 over 3. So, kasi 1 din naman. Para pare-pareho na lang yung denominator nila. Okay? So, dahil pare-pareho, copy the common denominator. Then, I have negative 4x. 8 plus 3 is 11. So, that is now the value of our second asymptote. The equation of the asymptote, y is equal to negative 4x plus 11 over 3. There you have it. So we were able to solve now the parts of the hyperbola. Now you're ready to solve our activity and assessment, which I have already forwarded to you the link in our Google form. Okay, so I hope you'll get a high score in this module. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope you learned something today. Again, I am Sir Verge. See you to our next lesson. Goodbye!